It's up to a big whopping 26.
I know I saw over 100 people registered, but they definitely show up later.
28.
John with the countdown.
30.
All right, John.
31.
We're good. We can see it. I'm not waiting till everyone gets on. I am a big believer in starting on time, so I thank you guys for being on time, and I will wait till 10 and then start.
2 minutes.
2 minutes and counting.
33 on board.
Thanks, John, for the report. Oh, goodness. So what was this class? It said area network.
I'm nervous about that. I knew.
You're nervous. Uh-oh. That's when people don't realize they're being recorded. Email, right? This is email marketing. Everyone's so excited for email marketing.
36. 37.
No?
38.
People that need the link. It's always last minute. I need the link.
Check the email. Sheesh.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, John, for the report. All right, it's 10 o'clock. Like I said, I'm a big believer in starting on time, so I thank you all for being here. I'm going to mute you guys just so we don't get background noise. For those that don't know me, my name is Lauren Johnson. I am the marketing manager for the Southeast region. So what we're going to go over today is pretty much email marketing, how you can do it, what you should be doing. I'm going to try to offer you guys a lot of tips and strategies that I have used in the past, and really kind of help you guys with getting this organized. Because as I'm meeting a lot, and I've actually just met, I was in Fort Lauderdale yesterday, and I must have had back-to-back appointments all day, and I couldn't believe how many people I met with who were not doing any email. So this is a very easy thing to set up. Well, I say it's easy, of course, probably I shouldn't say that, but let me give you some pointers on email. So with email, we have two basically tools that can help you with this type of email marketing. We have your In Touch, and then we have your Prospect Square. So the differences with those are different in give. So your In Touch, what I like to say, is more kind of your marketing emails. So those are where you could set up automatic drip campaigns. You can have those going more kind of fluff type marketing emails. So they're more about like, they give you information type stuff. Whereas your Prospect Square is more your market data information. So this is where you can actually send area reports, quarterly reports, and then also really hone in on a specific neighborhood and send them market reports on an automatic basis. They also are adding to Prospect Square where they're connecting that with Listing Concierge. So you'll see if you use Listing Concierge. Sorry, I feel like I'm losing my voice. They will put it in Prospect Square. So I want to go over all of that so you guys are familiar with that. And then also show you as they're adding a lot to Prospect Square as well to help you guys use that to promote your listings. So we will talk about that too. So those are kind of the two that I'm going to go back and forth with. Excuse me. I'm going to go over one, then we'll go over the next, and then I promise I will leave enough time for Q&A. So just know that I like to just go through and get everything out. I'm not going to stop for Q&A. I ask you to hold your questions till the end. I promise I will leave at least 30, 20 minutes for Q&A at the end. So feel free to write your questions in the chat as we go, and then I will get to them when we get to that point. So, okay, so I'm going to start with In Touch. So I'm going to share my screen. Here it is. Okay, In Touch. So with email campaigns, what I like to say, especially, and this is what I've seen, and I got to tell you guys, you got to be setting these up. Because if you are not reaching out to your sphere on a regular basis, you're missing out. I mean, you're missing the touch point. What is that? That NAR statistic that was out there recently was like everyone, it had like a huge, I don't even remember the actual numbers, but it was something like 96% of people were satisfied with their realtor, but only 70% actually used them again in the transaction. And that's really because they lost touch with them. They forgot who they were. So this is really what it's important to keep that information and keep you guys in their minds all the time. And email is a great way to do that. InTouch allows for you to do drip campaigns. So these are set up to go automatically out. And I want to talk about that, okay? Because first of all, you should have several drip campaigns set up, in my opinion. If I was doing this, I would have these broken out by buyer drip campaigns, seller drip campaigns, and past client drip campaigns, at least those three, if anything. And all of those three are usually given a few different messages. So what you would send to a buyer, for example, is going to be different than what you would send to a seller. And then your past clients are just kind of your touch and base, making sure that they're staying in, you're keeping in touch with them and they know you're still out there, still in real estate, still doing it. So first and foremost would be really to organize your contacts into those type of groups. Now, there are people who have different contacts, different groups. And I mean, InTouch, when you go in here, they give you a bunch of different groups already. So if you go over here in your contacts, so first, if you don't have any contacts in InTouch, you need to import them. That would be first step, which is very easy. You just hit import contacts. It has to be an Excel file, which is usually a CSV. You start the import, you see it says CSV, and you basically choose that CSV file and import it in. Okay, and then you will put them in, and when you do that import, it'll ask you to match the headers, and then you actually put it into a group. So when you're in a group, this is what you get, manage groups, here on the contacts, manage groups. You will see that you have all of these already in here. Like I don't think I've added any of these. These came from Google when I synced up my Google. And then these were already in here. So you have coworkers, family, friends, open house. And then I think you have past client sphere. Like I said, some of these were in here. So you can even change the name. So if you see some of these in here, you don't like the name, change it. You see that little pencil button, you could change the new group name here. And so set this up. And like I said, I would set this up to where at least if you're doing buyer drip campaign, seller drip campaign, and past clients, at least that, and your sphere. Your past clients probably and sphere could probably be one group. That would probably go in the same kind of messaging. But what I look at it is marketing messages. So you have to think of that you would get different messages for these groups. And I'm going to go over that, what I say as you should have for messages. The first step would be put them into the groups. If you already have contacts in here and you don't have them organized into groups, okay, and say you have a bunch of contacts, because if you sync with Google or Office 365, they basically just pull everything in. There's no rhyme or reason to it. So you're going to have to go sort them. So how you can do it, and there's no real easy way to do this other than you would have to sit here and check which one. So let's say if I want all of these to go in a certain group, I would have to sit here and check them, then hit bulk update. You hit the edit records, hit continue, and then here I hit groups, and then I put them in whatever group I want. That's the easiest way. There's no other option to do it. I'm sorry, you would have to take the time to organize that. But it's imperative, guys. It's imperative because then once you set up these drip campaigns, this is how then you know that this is going out for you and you have the right messaging going out. Okay. So and you can even do it here. So say if you get a new lead. Say if you get a new lead comes in, say if I get one lead comes in, it was Lauren Johnson, it was me. I could easily then just hit that group and stick them in one if you want to do it that way too. But for the bulk update, it's going to be easier to select a bunch and put them into a group. But there's no easy way to do it, especially if you're pulling it in from Google or you're pulling it in from Office 365. I'm just telling you straight up, you're just going to have to figure out a way to put them into groups, because the easiest thing, and especially on drip campaigns, the reason I say to put them into groups is because once you set up these drip campaigns and they're going out automatically for you, like say even a seasonal one. Okay, a seasonal one is a very simple drip campaign that you could basically send out to your sphere. You know that they're getting touched by you. You know they're getting that message from you, and it's nothing you have to worry about. It's already basically done for you. But what happens is, say if I got a new lead today and I have my drip campaign set up, if I just go ahead and put them into that group, I know they're going to get that next drip campaign automatically. I don't have to do anything other than stick them in that group. They're automatically on that campaign. That's the easiest way to do it. If you have them set up one by one, it just makes it hard with the drip campaigns. So I'm just trying to help you out with the easiest way to do this, okay? So then once you have these into groups, then you can go and start setting up your drip campaigns. So in InTouch, it would be marketing manage campaigns. And now there's a few ways to do this. Okay, you always have your monthly newsletter as an option to go out. So a lot of you know that you can click on this. You could see what the newsletter is. Basically shows the ones that have been sent out. The next one that's coming is obviously November. It's going to go out November 7th, and I can even personalize this. So you can go in, make modifications to this, change this, enhance this, whatever you want to do, and then you have that ready to go November 7th. Okay, and I would make sure that you guys are putting the stuff on here that you want to have on here. Okay, don't just live and be like, what these are meant to do is a guide. Guys, these are meant to just guide you on emails. If everyone's sending out the same stuff, you're gonna lose credibility. So that's why I say is try to change it. Try to make it more your own. Like use this as a guide, but make it your own. Change it. Add some other things to it. And we're gonna talk about this too. So I'm gonna give you guys some examples of kind of what I would put in these drip campaigns. Okay, so if I was going to send this out, monthly newsletter, if you just wanted to start sending this out, you could easily set this up by just, if you personalize it, you save it, and then here you basically hit add or remove contacts. And again, like I say, it's easier to do with the groups. And you wait for it. It always takes a lot to populate on InTouch. On groups. See, there you go. And then you could just add them over. So whatever group you wanted to add over, you can add them in and then save changes. And then you know that that is now set up for your campaign. That's one example. Okay, so see that's active now. Now that always stays active. You can't turn that off. So if you don't want your newsletter to go out, just don't put anybody on it. Simple as that. It won't go out if nobody's on it. The other is you have these other campaigns in here. You can hit add new campaign. Now they give you a bunch of templates to work off of. Okay, so you see that they have tons. The seasonal one is the most popular. So if this was set up, say in January, you know that they were going to get 14 emails from you throughout the year without you having to do anything. You don't have to do anything for this. I mean, I'm going to show you how you can change it and modify it. But even if you did nothing, you at least know that they're getting some sort of holiday message from you. And this is a great thing to set up for your past clients. You know that they're getting touched by you. You know they're getting emails from you. So at least you're staying in their mind. So for example, this one, choose this template. Okay, and this is going to tell you the next one that's going to go out. So you see it says Happy Halloween. I can even go in and personalize this. And they're very simple messages. They're only like 2-liners, but you could change it. You can add to it if you want. You can even change this picture. And you see you could upload an image or pull from the stock to make yourself look different. And another thing that you can make yourself look different is here you have this add step. So if I was going to hit add step, I can hit add email. This is going to add basically an email step. Let's say if I wanted to make my Halloween one different than another agent's. I can hit add email, click, it's going to pull into my marketing center. So then my keyword, I'm going to search Halloween. And you see I have all these Halloween options. So that's the one that's being sent out. So let's say if I want to do mine a little different, maybe I want this one instead. I can literally hit this one and you see I get, as soon as I pick it, it offers some different options. It looks different. And then I could hit add to campaign. What it does is it adds it to the bottom of the campaign. But what you can do is basically look at, okay, this is scheduled to go out 10/31. It says Happy Halloween. So I could do the same thing. I could send it out 10/31 and I could say Happy Halloween. Or you can change it. I'm just showing if you just wanted to change just the picture. And now I have that there. So then what I could do here is eliminate this step. You don't want to make sure and now I just made it look different. You can even change this. So to make yourself look different, if everyone has this set out going to 10/31, like maybe send yours the day before. Just giving you ideas, okay? So you don't have to sit there and have it, because a lot of people use this campaign. A lot of people use the holiday. But that's just another way, again, to make yourself stand out. You send it a different day or whatever is another option. Change the subject line as well. Okay, so subject lines are very important. Subject line is the first thing somebody sees in an email. So you got to make sure that it sets the tone for the rest of the email. And so you may want to have it even like pique the interest of your reader. And so some things that you can do that may help garner some more interest is like you could add emojis. Now, I don't know if you can add emojis to this, but I know in other emails you can. You would have to do a copy and paste from somewhere to see if you can add emoji in here as an option. A lot of them let you do the emojis on the subject line. I've never tried it actually in here, but I've tried it in like Outlook and it works. But that's an option, or even changing the way the subject line is, because again, that's what they're seeing. And I got to think is everyone's getting inundated with all this stuff. The other thing to think about too when you're doing emails is the preview text. So that's usually like the first few lines of your email. That's what somebody is able to preview without opening it. You have to make sure that that is something that's going to pique their interest as well, and it coincides with that subject line. Now, obviously for this is just generic. It's actually just a holiday email. So there's only so much you can say about Halloween and all that. So then if you're fine with this, and you could do this for every single one, you can add step and change it. Like I can add another step and change it for the fallback and do the same thing. I could search. So how I did that again, let's say if I say veteran, or maybe giving thanks. Maybe I want a different one for Thanksgiving. So again, I can hit add step. Just show you again how I did that. Add step. And again, it searches. I take off print to make sure I'm not pulling up any print. And I'm just going to type in, say, Thanksgiving. And now I have all of these options in here that maybe I like better for Thanksgiving. You see, that's the one that's sending out, but you have all of these other options that you can send. So let's say if I just take this simple one and I say, okay, this I want to do, I'm going to hit add to campaign. Same thing, it puts it to the bottom. You just got to go, okay, so that one's 11/26 and it says giving thanks. So again, I could do the same thing, have it going out 11/26, say giving thanks, or you can change it, whatever you guys want to do. But then just make sure if you do that, you delete that other one so they're not getting two from you. Okay, so that's how you can make it a little bit different. And then you would save that. And then you would add your contacts. So again, I always say to add the groups. And then you can just add them over. And then save changes. And then of course you just got to review and activate to make it, which is really this first checkbox. You have to select this. Now you do have the option in any of these campaigns, you see that once the campaign completes, it automatically adds them to the monthly newsletter. So that's by default. If you don't want that to happen, you could just hit none selected. And then also on your emails is you have the ability to include showcase properties in all your email steps. So if you have certain properties that you want to showcase on all your emails, you can include those and it'll add it to that campaign, or you cannot. It's up to you. But I will tell you on those showcase properties, you have to go in and specify on those listings which ones you want to showcase. Because by default, I'm going to tell you if you guys have any of the offices connected, which I'm sure all of you do, by default, it includes all of the office's listings on showcase properties. So you would have to go into those listings and take that off. I'll show you what I mean in case you guys don't know what I'm talking about. So then now that's activated. So now I have that green button. And if at any point I wanted to take this off, I can easily turn it off. And if I wanted to add additional groups, you see I could just click on that group and I can add another group to this campaign if I wanted. But now that's done. I don't have to worry about that. That's going out for me on a, whenever the holidays are, it's usually a monthly basis. And I have that going out, I don't have to worry about it. So you see it now, it's 2 groups. Okay, so the listings, what I was talking about is to showcase your listings. If you go into your listings, market my listings. I just want to point this out because I don't have any listings, but how the listings would look, if you have listings, it looks like this. This box at the top is usually checked for everything. If you don't want this property to be included, you would uncheck it. Okay, the same thing pops up for my office's listings. Now, I don't know why, but by default, it checks every single one. So what that's going to do is you're not going to have control of your listings. More than likely, it's going to have some of the office ones. Now, I have unchecked these, but you'll see as you go through these, all of these are checked. So you would have to take those off if you want to say highlight your listings in particular. You don't want the office ones to pull up. I know it's a pain in the butt, but you would have to come off and basically uncheck this box. Now, this is an automatic save feature. So as soon as you check and uncheck, it's automatically saving. You don't have, there's no save button on here or anything like that, but just know that that's how you control what's being on those showcase marketing emails. Okay, going back to the campaigns. Okay, so you see how that was a holiday one and a seasonal one. So now another option, what you can do, sorry, I don't know how that got there, back to campaigns, is you could do custom campaigns. Okay, and this is why I say, like, this is where you get the idea of doing more kind of drip campaigns targeted to what kind of groups you're in. So here, if I hit add new campaign, I can basically start creating my own drip campaign. So over here, you'll see on the left-hand side, you have create custom campaign. So basically you get two options. An interval campaign is basically saying, I'm going to say, okay, every 10 days, this is going to go out. A date campaign is a specific date of the month that it goes out. So if I say this is going to go out on the 15th of every month, then I could hit date campaign. So you can pick whichever one you want. I'm going to say interval for this one. It really doesn't matter. It's up to you on what you want. And now you see there's nothing in here. So basically I can add this and build this how I want this. So what I could do is I could hit add step, hit add email. And you can pull, like if you guys don't know what to put, you're stuck, like you can pull from this library and start adding stuff in. Like for example, with this COVID situation, okay, this was a bunch of stuff on here. So COVID, if I hit COVID, you see there's 51 emails on this. This could have been a drip campaign in itself, just on the COVID until it ends. This can become your email campaign. You basically have 50 something emails to choose from where you could start putting this on a drip campaign. You know, some things are here, pricing right the first time. You know, maybe this is part of the seller, but you see how these are out here for you guys to use. This actually says you may be considering FSBOs, piece part of let me handle it campaign. Okay, and if I was going to add this to a drip campaign, I could literally hit add to campaign. Pick the number of days, so I could say whatever, 10 or 12. I mean, I wouldn't go too close, guys. Weekly, I think it's kind of tight, but maybe like you can go 10, 12 days. So they're not getting blasted content else, because then you're more likely to have it unsubscribed. And then you can say pricing right or whatever. Get the idea. And then basically what I can do is add another step. Do the same thing, go to the library, type in the COVID, and I could find another template to put. You know, maybe I want to talk about, I don't know, any of these will work. I mean, I'll let you guys go through all of these, like here, selling your home, challenging times. I mean, these can even be the seller drip campaign. This is why I'm telling you guys, they give you guys this stuff as a guide, use it, and then make it your own. So I could here add to sell, add to campaign. This is selling. Or I don't know, maybe you want to do more of a question, ready to sell. And then you keep going. And maybe this starts to become the seller's campaign. So some ideas that I want to actually talk about, because here's where I see a lot of agents missing this, where you guys don't have these drip campaigns set up. And I think what it comes down to is maybe you just don't understand how to put these together or what to actually focus on. So for example, I put this actually little bullet list together. So say for buyer leads, and here, I'm going to type this because I didn't have time to put a slide deck together, but I'll type this in the chat. Let me get to the chat. Seema says, what if you have one list with all contacts and didn't have them set up in groups? You got to set them in groups. You got to differentiate them, because that's the only way you're going to be able to do this. You're going to have to take the time, guys. And that's why I say it to you at the beginning. You're going to have to take the time to set up the list for sure. Okay, so buyer leads. Let's say if I was going to buyer lead. I have a bunch of buyers. How am I going to target them? Okay, so some things that you would want to include in your drip campaign. So this is where you guys can set these up. You can set up these custom campaigns. So for example, let's say if I was setting this up buyer drip campaign, maybe the first thing I would say is I would want to say, okay, maybe I want to put the latest homes for sale, right? That's got to be the easiest thing to do. Latest homes for sale to hit the market. And you guys can set this up very easily with, as you know, an InTouch. You could do a link to it. You could even give them links to your site or however you want to do it with the latest homes for sale. The other thing is I would say maybe pointing out, sorry, my window's a little weird. I would say point out noteworthy listings in your area. So this, again, the benefit with doing stuff like this, okay, is again, this shows your guys' expertise. So if you can actually point out noteworthy listings, okay, and you actually point out home styles, I don't know why that copied like that, that was weird. But you're actually pointing out characteristics. This again shows your knowledge in the market. It shows the advantage, and that's what you want to showcase, guys. This is how they actually differentiate. This is how people think about, okay, what am I going to go with this realtor versus this one? You got to show what you know. You show like how the characteristics are different. And these are things, guys, that probably are very easy for you guys that you're not broadcasting. You know, talking about the highlights in a home are probably second nature to you guys, whereas to the average person, they don't know. They don't look at like characteristics of a home and they notice these things. That's why if you guys point that out, it shows, again, your knowledge of the industry. Another thing to do is the housing market data from recent months. Can't talk. So this is where you can include the mortgage rates. Include things on the price values, the property sales in that particular area. So if you're actually farming a certain area, talk about that. Talk about what has sold recently in that area. If you have actual sales in that neighborhood, talk about that. Say, and you don't have to say like you sold it, even if it was 2 years ago, they don't know. Just say you sold this, this, and this home. They can look it up, but most likely no one ever does that to the average person. But talk about that you sold these many houses in that particular neighborhood, and then talk about the mortgage rates. I mean, guys, guaranteed rate is a huge partner with us. If you even want to, I guarantee if you reached out to any of our reps, they would be glad to provide these mortgage rates or even give you guys some materials to put into your marketing. You know, use those resources that you have. But then that'll help start to build that drip campaign. When you even have like Sunbelt Title, and you can even partner, say it's in partnership with Sunbelt Title. They will even, I'm guaranteed, provide you with information to give to the clients. But this will help them get a clear notion of the marketing status. It shows them you're extremely knowledgeable about the market at large. Okay, another thing to think of is favorite aspects of that in the community. So again, if you're targeting a farm area, talk about what you like in that community. What are some of the key restaurants? What are the local dog parks you like to go to? What are the retail stores that you like to go to? And this is huge in an email, guys. These type of things are what people love to see in emails. This is where you're actually providing actual valuable content in an email that they will like, and they will like being subscribed to this. So think, it's always great to promote any other businesses anyway. So restaurants, even local events are huge. I'm telling you, I did local events weekly. Every Thursday, I did a post about what was happening that weekend, and it was the most popular every single week. They started to actually look for it. So do that, guys. And especially we live in an area that there's so many events going on all the time. Use that to your advantage. Talk about them. Okay, now what I say talk about them, so like a good thing to do is blogging. So anyone who's ever been on my classes knows I always talk about blogging. Why? Because blogging, there's so many benefits with blogging. First of all, it helps get you out there in the search engines. Okay, it helps people find you because they could find your blog before they find your website. Two, it gives you ways to send stuff out. So now if you wrote a blog about local events coming up, say this weekend, now I have that blog where I could post it in my email. So now that's part of my drip campaign. I could send it out on all of my social media. And now when anyone clicks that, they're going to my website. So now I've just pushed everybody to my website. So I love blogging. I say blog, blog, blog. And the great thing too with blogging, especially if you're doing big local events and you're talking about local communities or even local restaurants or retail stores, that's out there in the search engines now. So that's going to help you if you go type, especially a local event. I remember I did this blog for a developer over on the west coast of Florida. And I didn't even know it because I wasn't familiar with the area, but I talked about this pumpkin festival. I had no idea how big it was. Apparently, it was one of the only pumpkin festivals over there, but because I talked about it, people were coming to my blog over theirs. So that's what I'm saying is just stuff that you know is happening. You know, that events that you know are big, blog about them because it's going to help you pull up and people want to know about this. So not only once you write a blog, then send it out in an email. You got to promote it in your email. Okay, those are huge. Some other ideas are why, this is all part of one drip campaign. So all of these are drip, 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 drip. You're setting these up for your drip campaigns. Why people love living in your market. So this is a great way too. If you have past clients at a certain neighborhood, maybe do an interview with them or get a testimonial from them of talking about why do they love to live here. Maybe you're just talking about neighbors. Maybe you just contact a few neighbors and ask why do they love to live here. But this helps you. Then it talks about then people that are sharing what's happening in the community. And this is a great way too, because this is what happens when a lot of out of state people that have no idea of the markets down here. This is what's going to help them then show your knowledge as well, and then show your reputability. Because if you're getting people to get quotes from, it shows how you're reputable in that community. And like I always said too, is the in-depth buyer resource. So this is where you can actually show a free home buyer's guide, some sort of ebook of resources of buying. And we have this available. If you're in InTouch Pro, they have free guides on there, or even Moxie has a buyer's guide to utilize. So that can be something that you even send out in your email. So for example, okay, so the buyer's guides are here. If you go into the marketing center, and I go into, and this is only pro, so you got to be pro to do this. But if you're pro, you'll see this here, guides. Look, and now I have all my buyer's guides. They're basically the same thing, it's just a different cover. So you can decide what cover you want and you customize it and you download it as a PDF. You'll see if I click on this one. I can personalize it and then I'll download it as a PDF. So obviously you can't really, it's harder to attach that, but you could attach it in an email. You could put that, if I download it, let me think. Let me see how it downloads. You may be able to attach it. Okay, if I save this, call it something else so you don't save over the template. You can always do a Dropbox link too. Like if I had download PDF, let me see just how it downloads. I never downloaded it. Geez, it takes a while. Maybe what you could do is even put this in your website. You can have it as a downloadable link. So the any way to do a downloadable link though is you would have to have it residing online somewhere. So that would mean that it would either have to be like in a Dropbox folder or somewhere that Google Drive that they would have to download that. It's taking too long. I think I killed it. Yeah, it's just downloading a straight PDF. So you would have to put this online somewhere. So how this, can you guys see this? Oh yeah. So this is what it looks like. And you see that this is nice though to send out to people. If you see that they have this is really nice that they can send this out. It's basically anything you can think of for buying your home. Questions about the property. It tells them what to ask, how to make an offer, all of this stuff, home inspection, clearing title, all of this. I mean, basically it's everything. And then you're branded on this at the end, which is nice. So it's only actually 20 pages, so not that bad. So how you can do this, if you did want to put it in a link, is actually put this in a Dropbox. You guys know Dropbox? So Dropbox is free. Well, it used to be really free. Now they're charging, but you could get away with one of these links in here. Okay, let me see if I could put this, or you could put it on Google. Google will let you put a Google Drive, anything on the cloud. You can put this on. I can't find the login for Dropbox. Okay, never mind. I'll come back to that. I can't figure out how to log in on this. Making me sign up. I don't want to take up all that time on that Dropbox. You upload it to Dropbox, you get a link, and then you could share your link into any of these emails that you create. So you got to think with the marketing centers, you have all of these emails available to you. And you can literally type, like you see, I can type Buyer Marketing Pro, and these are going to search. Like I have over 100 things that I can send out to buyers. I talk about private mortgage insurance, interested in buying a new home. I mean, all of these can start your drip campaign. But what I would do is add to those, you know, like take some of these and then use it as a template to then add to. So this is where the things in the chat where I would say, talk about the local community, like talk about those events. Thank you, Carla. She sent my drop. Thank you. Talk about like specific things to make it differentiate yourself to that. You know, don't just leave it to these templates, okay? Because it's not going to work, guys. I'm going to tell you, you have to show how you're knowledgeable about the area. You have to show how it's different. You have to be unique. If you're just sitting here taking these templates and sending them off, I guarantee you're not going to get a big response. These are more just a guide. You got to take it and add to these to make yourself look different. Okay, so that's with the buyer. And like I said, is you have a ton down here, you know, even if you take these, and like I said, even reach out to the Sunbelt title. They will totally, I guess, give you an help with going hand in hand with information on mortgages, information on what you can send out. They're great. They're great, but you see everything on this. How much home can I afford? I mean, maybe that's one of the drip campaigns. You're going to talk about that. Use my local expertise. This is where you can then talk about how you maybe, and especially if you're farming a certain neighborhood, you could say, you know, I've been a resident here for so many years. I know this like the back of my hand. I mean, those are things that you need to put into these drip campaigns. You need to basically sell yourself and differentiate yourself of why they need to use you versus somebody else. That's the idea. Okay, so that's buyer. Yes, I have pro. Danielle says, instead of a link, do you create a PDF with Sunbelt guaranteed rate and add that as a campaign? You can do that and have it as a PDF. The thing with the PDF is you got to actually put it somewhere like a Dropbox or Google in order to have them download it. It's got to be online in order for them to grab it. But yeah, I mean, and I would say, yeah, I mean, you could definitely include that, or you can just embed it in your email, Danielle. Like if they have emails, I'm sure they have tons of emails that they send out too. You know, ask them some content for their emails that they send out of what they send out for buyers. And I'm sure they'll give you stuff that then can help you build your drip campaign. What do you mean? How would that appear as a campaign? So that can be like one of the ones, what did I have? I said one of the ones was talking about housing market data from recent months. So that's where you could talk about the data. So you can actually have a graphic on there of talking about what's happening in that market, talk about what's happening with the mortgage rates right now. Yeah, this is still, you guys can still do these campaigns if you don't have pro. I just showed you the guides is pro, but everything else you could do without pro. Yes, a PDF is a link. So even if you don't have pro, you can add a PDF. You just have to have it linking into a Dropbox or a Google Drive. How do you create a graphic instead of a template? You mean like in the email campaign itself? So you would have to use Canva. Canva or an outside program would help you create these types of graphics. And I would definitely use these guys. So stuff in Canva, if anyone isn't familiar with Canva, get comfortable with Canva. It is free. They will try to charge you, but you can completely do graphics in here. So for example, I think I have an account in here. Let me check. I do. Okay, so say if you're talking about the market area and you want to do a graphic. So I think I made one. Let me see. Social media graphic. I think I have a graphic on the market data. Here was a template. And this was a template, and you guys can change this, but this is just a rough idea. Here could be like the city name, what month you're pulling these stats, and here you could talk about the average price, days on the market, active listings, homes sold. You can even include like mortgage rates currently, whatever, and then have your email right here as the one linked. And if anyone doesn't know, like Canva is so easy to use. You basically, like you see, this is just text. You could pull in text. If you guys are not familiar with Canva, you see like I could pull this over and create a text box. It's very, very easy to use. And then what's great, download this. So this is page 5. So if I say I want to download this, I literally hit what page do I want? I only want page 5. And now this becomes a graphic that I can put into my email. So now what happens, it downloads to my computer. I would then go back into Market Leader, and let's say if I have one of these email templates, just say if I click on this one, I'm going to personalize this. Okay, so you can have all of this, and then maybe here or maybe in the middle, I want to put my graphic. All I would have to do is hit Insert Image, upload that image. Here it was. And there it is, and I can make this bigger. I could center it. And then I could even link, I can have this whole graphic because it has a link in there to the website. I can have this whole thing linked to my website. All I have to do is hit that link button and put in my website. But this is where I would put in the HTTP, www, and put in your website. And you can have it go wherever you want on your page. But then you know that that's clickable. As an option, and this is what I'm saying is like take these templates, guys, and use it as a guide, but add to it. Make it different, like make yourself stand out, you know, add graphics, add things that are going to make you show that you know this market. And don't be shy with Canva. It really is, I know, and it really is easy to use with this. It's just like, look, that was nothing. It's literally a box I put with just setting these up side by, you know, next to each other. There's no special thing I did on this graphic. Even if you talk about a local event, you know, if you blog about a local event, you could put that local event into a graphic. Like here was one on Cirque du Soleil. It talked about, I basically took the graphic from Cirque du Soleil, put the date where it's at, and the name. I mean, this right here could be like a blog, or this could be like in your email, and it's nothing. There's nothing on here other than the graphic and text. That's it. So I know you're going to say like, oh, it's easy for you because I hear that all the time. But look, there's nothing being done here other than even this. This was a Luke Bryan concert. You could take literally the graphic is from Loom. It's from the event page. All I did was add this box with text. So get creative, guys. You guys are blowing up my chat. Okay, I'm not going to go through that now. Just let me keep going. There's too many. But you see my point, and this is where you guys can start to build this drip campaign. Okay, so that was for the buyer drip campaign. So that was an idea for that. You guys can take that and kind of run with that on that aspect. Okay, now let's talk about for the seller leads. What would I include if I was actually starting to target sellers? How would my drip campaign be set up? So maybe what I would do first of all is I would talk about stats on the latest homes to sell nearby. Okay, so that's where you could pull in the statistics of home sales, say, okay, home sales, which is typical. Get the idea of what's selling in their neighborhood, put in stats of home sales. And then also include an info on listings that have sold or that you've sold in the past. So this was, again, showcasing where you guys can show your sales in that neighborhood. And again, who cares if it's 4 or 5 years past? Put you sold it. It doesn't matter. Just show that you sold in that neighborhood. So info on listings you've sold. You've sold in the past. Yes, guys, Canva is amazing. And Canva, it's a great online graphic design tool. Okay, the next thing I would do is do blog posts. So a blog post on selling, home seller tips. So this can be stuff as like staging, talk about staging your home, talk about maybe your maintenance of your yard, stuff like that. Is another part of the drip campaign. It's showing again where you're helping them help prepare them to sell their home. You're giving them value. You're giving them content. This is what, and especially if they're thinking of selling, this is what they would appreciate this stuff. The next would be like an explanation of your background. So this is like your value proposition. Okay, so why should they work with you? Why you versus somebody else? And again, if you guys are just starting out in this industry, because I get this a lot from agents who are just starting out, they're like, well, I haven't done anything. Use your past qualifications, use what you did in the past. You have to have something that's bringing a value to what you're doing now. You have to. Everyone does. When you start breaking it down, somebody always has something that you're bringing into value into this industry. Okay, so the next one would be, and these are just literally drip campaigns. So now what? I'm on like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Five emails in one drip campaign. And now maybe the next one I talk about testimonials. Okay, that's another drip campaign. That's another part. So now I'm at 6. So then my last one would probably be like tools. So now I have 7 emails in one drip campaign that I know I'm getting contacted. So now I'm on seller tools. So this could be guides, resources, etc. for selling. This is all for selling. So anything, and again, the InTouch has the seller guide in there as again with Pro as an option for sellers. But if you don't, you guys, I'm sure there's tons of stuff that you can download and find for free, sellers guides on what you can get for if you don't have Pro. I'm not saying that you have to buy Pro, but I'm saying if you really want to get serious about this, you should have Pro because you should be blogging. That alone should be why you should do it. The blogging. I'm sure you can get a seller guide or a buyer guide from anywhere online. If you type it in, I'm sure it's available somewhere. You can pull it out. But this is what I'm saying for blogging. If you want to get serious, this is where I'm saying it was the email campaigns, because you could write a blog, then reference that in your email, and you're sending them valuable content. That's how you're going to get people to make sure that you know that you're knowledgeable. It's not about just like, oh, hey, go work with Lauren. Why? Why would I work with Lauren over somebody else? You have to basically tell them why. And that's really what marketing is. They want to know why. Okay, so the last one I would say to focus on is say past clients. Can you show us how to blog? Yeah, I will show you how to blog. It's very easy. Okay, so for past clients, or basically your sphere, you can lump them into one basically group, because what you're doing is you're just trying to make sure that these people are staying in touch with you somehow, some way, that they're getting some information from you. So one thing, obviously, blog updates. So any new blog that you post, you could send them to them. Okay, this is where you have your blog set up. You're posting this new blog every week or whatever, however you want to do this. And guys, you have to set up the parameters of how often you want to do this. But you could specify, and again, there's no rhyme or reason to like say, okay, you have to send this out weekly or you have to send this out every week. What I say is with marketing, it's consistency. So if you're going to do this twice a month, then stick to that. Do it twice a month. If you're going to do it once a month, then stick to it. It's consistency is the key. Okay, it doesn't matter. And I've seen agents who literally do it weekly, and they're successful with it. They like it. Other agents say no, people start complaining about it. So you have to kind of feel your people out. Everybody's different. Everybody's leads are different. Everyone, how they react is different. I will tell you though, be careful with Cole Realty lists. Okay, because that is a marketing database list. And I'm telling you guys, no matter what, I don't care. I bought the most expensive list of $500 to the cheapest list of $100. No matter what, these are marketing lists. These are not fully opted in people. They have somehow agreed by checking something or filling out some form that they agreed to get emails sent to them. Well, in their mind, they never really agreed. So you will get pushback when you send stuff out from that stuff. Okay, it's bound to happen. So be careful on those things. What I say is with Cole Realty, okay, if you download a list from Cole Realty, I'm not saying don't use it, but I'm saying use it carefully in the sense of like, if I was going to use Cole Realty and I was going to source out, first of all, I would only pick like a neighborhood. I wouldn't go and take a whole zip code of thousands of email from Cole and send it out. I would take a neighborhood, maybe take half of that list and join it with my other actually opted in list. That's going to help your open rate. Okay, if you just send an email out to Cole Realty people and they have no idea who you are bound to get rated for spam. It's bound to happen. But what you can do is if you intermix it kind of with people that you know are opted in onto your list, and you know, like I would send it to people that I know are going to open it. That is going to help your open rate then to not get linked into spam. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind too with that Cole. I had to say that because Cole, you just got to be careful with those lists. It's a marketing list. They're never 100%. I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm telling you, no matter where you get them from, they are never 100%. Okay, I had to give my spiel off. Those marketing lists, you got to be careful. Okay, so past clients again. So maybe another thing would be an inquiry about current home buyer seller status. Okay, maybe you want to have an inquiry about that. That could be an email in itself. Current home buyer seller status. The next thing can be updates and changes regarding your business. So anything, updates and changes for your business. If you've moved offices, if something's new with the brokerage, talk about that stuff. You know, those are great things to show. If you've sold more homes this year, talk about that. You know, talk about updates and changes that have happened in your business so they can be aware. You know, even company developments. So here, company developments, you can even put. If the company's done more stuff, brag about that. Talk about that. You know, that's stuff that's going to help you. You know, the next thing would be obviously the homeowner resources. Here, I'm just going to copy this. I don't know why I want to copy it over there. It looks funny, but. Okay, homeowner resources. This is again, you know, show them how they can maintain their yard. That could be an ebook, checklist for homeowners. And again, these are great things again to blog. This could be a blog itself. You know, a blog about maintaining your yard can be a blog. A checklist of home chores to conduct weekly and monthly. So these are great for first-time home buyers. They have no idea how to maintain a home. Give them a checklist of what they should be doing weekly. How many times do they need to check their air filters? How many times do they need to do this? Like those are things that, those are valuable content. These are things that for you guys, it's probably like second nature. It's like nothing. You don't think of it. But these are things that they would like. Maintain finances for first-time homeowners. Maybe they have no idea how to do their budgets or maintaining their finances. So those are some ideas for drip campaigns. Now, basically, like how you would put all that in. So then once you have your drip campaigns, it's really starting to customize this stuff. So what I say is, even if you start out with one of these templates, you know, use what's out there. I'm not saying go reinvent, like you have to start from scratch, but use what's out there in this library and in this marketing center, and then make it your own. Add to this. Don't just use this template and send it out. Okay, that's not going to differentiate yourself. And if you really want to be like that top agent, they're not doing this. They're not using templates. There's a reason why, because they want to make themselves look different. But these templates are a great guide to help you get started. Okay, so like I said, use this, get an idea. Even if you have no idea what to write, there was kind of a guide I threw in there, but even these, there's so much in here. Like here, importance of your credit report. You know, I mean, that's actually a very boring email, but maybe you take that and merge that into something other in another, you know, another email or something. But like that's a boring email. I'm sorry, that's boring. Okay, so what was I going to show you? Blogging. Let me go to blogging. Somebody asked, how do you do blogs? Okay, so if I was in my website, in InTouch. So no matter if you do the blog in InTouch or even WordPress, they're all very similar of how they actually are created and how they work. So when you're in your blog and you're in your InTouch, it looks like this. It's in your website because it's linked to your website. So here, all you would have to do, and these are 3 that come with it. Okay, so those are 3 that are already there as an example for you. You can hit add new post. You make the title. The great thing is with the title, like let's say if I just start typing this, buying a home. You see, this is how the link turns. Okay, so the link now is my title. This is one caveat. That's why it helps you get out in the search engines. You could change the image, so you could put whatever you want. Obviously, make it appealing, guys. You have to make the image appealing. Image is everything. And most people, I would say 99% of the people are visual. So make it an appealing image that's going to grab their attention. And then you just start writing. You just start writing about it. And blogs don't have to be long. Like they can be a paragraph or two, and that's fine. Or they can be one paragraph, that's fine. They don't need to be long. You're just getting this stuff out there into the internet world, and it's allowing you the ability to share it with your contacts. That's strictly all it is. And then you basically save it. And then once you save it, you see now with these examples, I can share this. So I can share this right to my Facebook. Let me just show you what it pulls up when I share it. You see it grab that image, it shows my headline, and now I can share this. And when they click on this, where are they going to go? They're going to go to my blog on my website. And so always my hope is that they start scrolling around on my website after. Maybe they go to other blogs and then maybe they sign up. You know, that's always the hope. And that's usually what happens is nobody really visits a site and stays on one page. They start wandering around. So that's the key. If I was going to include this in my email, you see that I can send it right from here. So you can either take this and send it out to somebody. You could send this to groups here, or like here, this basically pulls up this group list, but I'm kind of nervous about doing it like this. So don't do it like this because I don't think that this has a unsubscribe button when you do this. Yeah, so don't do it like that. That email thing is scary. I had somebody do it like that and they send it out and there's no unsubscribe button like that. So I would grab the link. So here, I would copy this link and then go back into my marketing center. So wherever I had my design, say if I had one of these, I did one, didn't I, recently? I don't. Let's see if I did one on the property. Let's see if this was my email. I could talk about this or whatever, and then I could add, I wouldn't do this with this, but you get the idea. Here, view, blog. So then you could either add it here or view, however you want to put it. So whatever words you want to use. View new blog post. Or you can even put the title. So whatever that title was of the blog post. I think it said 5 do-it-yourself, whatever. That's probably better to put the title of the blog. 5 do-it-yourself. I don't remember what it was. Ways to blah, blah, blah. Put the title. You could then highlight that title, make it big, bold it, whatever. Now you have the title there, and then you can link it for that blog. So then you could put there it was, improvements to make your home classier. 5 do-it-yourself ways to make, and that could be the whole title, and then you link it. You can even add the picture from the blog if you want. You can even add the image in here, basically recreate the post, upload that image here, and then you have basically your little blog that you can have it linked to your website. So it's just reiterating what is already on your site. You're just basically giving them a little teaser to go to your site on your blog post on your actual website. So this is just to tease them basically. So that's how you would do that. And then once you have this saved and whatever, like if I save this, then you can compose it. And then once you have compose email in InTouch, you can hit this too. So here's where you could either put the individual contacts or you can submit to the groups to add it in. So here I can add over the groups if I wanted and save that. So now I have that group on there. They're not going to see each other. It is hidden. And then also too is once you guys have that, you can even customize this and say, hi. They do have this merge field option. So then it'll show them their first name. So it looks more personal. I could say, hi, so-and-so, here's a property I thought you should check out. Or you could just say, I thought you'd be interested in this information. Whatever you're putting in there, make it more personal, and that would help. Then send those out so it's more personal. And then here, that little thing in the conclude showcase properties, you see if I check this, that puts the placeholder for those showcase properties to go in there if you did want that. And again, if you guys have listings, this would be, I would put these on your email. So then you're showcasing your properties as an option. And then you would send it. Okay, so then once you send these out, the key too is to look at the stats that are happening with these. And so once you send these out, how you can look at what happened is go into your messages. And you would go to sent. So then you see by every single one that I've sent, they have the stats. I could click on stats and see if they opened it and what the click-through rate was and who opened it as an option. So be aware of that. And if you're doing campaigns, they have their own stats. So on the actual campaign page, you could see I could hit performance and that'll show. It doesn't show you on these. You can't click the opens and see who actually opened them. It's the only downfall with these. And then just know, guys, that there's tons of stuff in this marketing center, you know, but I think the key is not to just do these marketing center, but to have these on drip campaigns. The automatic campaigns is what, for one, is going to help you guys. It's going to help you get out and make sure that you're in the touch point of touching these people on a regular basis. And then this too is when you have these leads coming in and you know they're buyer or seller or even past clients, you know that they're getting the right message from you. And that's going to help you then convert that lead is those messaging. So even in here in the marketing center, like I can even type in, let's say they have property marketing here. So even if you just want to send out a listing about your property, you have this ability on all of these templates here to do this. Okay, so say, look, we even have an open house one. This is actually a new one. This is new. So it has an open house date. You can actually pull this in, real vitalize there. That would be something to add to your drip campaign. For sellers, talk about real vitalize, and they have that in here. Here, real vitalize. Actually, if I go all collection, here's 3 on real vitalize that you guys can talk about. That can be one part of your email message for the sellers. As an option, talk about real vitalize, you know, so just know, like, you guys can really make this your own. It is going to take you time to set these up at first, but once you have this set up and you put the work into these drip campaigns, they're not going to alter that significantly. Okay, so yeah, you're going to have to put the work in at first, but what don't you have to put the work in at first? So you got to set it up. You would have to set it up at least, that's why I say at least for 3 guys. At least you should have a buyer. I mean, if you don't work for buyers, then you don't have to worry about the buyers. But if you do have a mix of buyer and seller, you got to have a buyer campaign, you got to have a seller campaign, and then you got to have either a basic sphere past client type of campaign. That's just making sure that everybody is staying in touch. I would say at least those 3. Now, there are others who do more. There are some who do one for agents, other agents they send stuff to. I've seen some that do for investors. So you can set these up, but you just have to know that everybody has a different message. And that's the key. Okay, not everybody should be getting generic messages. Like if you really have a buyer or a seller that you're really trying to convert, the drip campaign, if you set it up strategically with the little suggestions, then I would say that way you know that they're getting valuable information and you're basically selling them on this campaign of why they should use you as an option. Okay, so we're at an hour and I see this chat is going off the wall. Let me go back and look and see if I can answer some questions here. Oh, Anne suggests subjectline.com is great for ideas. That's great. I didn't even know about that. That's a good idea. Subject lines are keys, guys. What if you have one list with all contact? Yeah, you have to separate them. I think I suggested that. How do you take someone off a campaign without disrupting the campaign for everyone else? So you can remove some. I would take them off the group. So Monica, if you have somebody in a campaign, like I said, if you're setting it up properly with the group, take them out of the group and then they're fine. They're off the campaign. That's why I say, guys, it's easier, so much easier if you set it up by groups, because even as leads, if you want to take someone out, just take them out of the group. If you want to add someone, you just put them in the group and they're getting the automatic next campaign. And especially with those buyer and seller, like if you have those set up and say like, I already have this set up and already 3 emails have gone out on my buyer campaign. If I add a new buyer to that campaign, they're starting from the beginning and going through the drip campaign. So just keep that in mind as you're doing this. Like they're automatically, and you know that they're getting touch point and messages from you as well. Carlos says, can these campaigns be added to your social media so they post automatically? Okay, nothing is automatic in social media. That's for one. But yes, you can post anything to your social media. They are coming out with a social concierge that is supposed to be a segment off of the listing concierge. So I don't know really what is involved with that yet. They haven't fully told us, but I do know that that's supposed to help you guys with the social media aspect. But right now, no, there's no way to automatically post to your social media. But what you can do is any of these that you do. So for example, once I have created a template on any of these, like let's say if I have this one, it was a just listed flyer. I did this for some whatever. And you see you can add video to any of these. Let me show that, for example. You can add video into any of these templates. Okay, by default, they don't have the video in here. You can add a virtual tour into anything. Right here, you see this insert video. You just hit that button, and what it's going to ask you for is the video URL. So all you have to do is go, and it only supports YouTube and Vimeo. So all you have to do is go over to YouTube, show you how it works real quick. Okay, Coldwell Banker. And whatever video you want, you just make sure that you open it. Let's see if I just grab this random one. You open it and you copy this link at the top. You copy that, go back into Market Leader, and basically you paste that in and hit submit. And you'll see where did I insert that link? Oh, here, it put it at the top. I wouldn't put it there, but you get the idea of here. If I was going to put this here, I would insert here, paste that URL, hit submit, and then you see it shows up real tiny, but you can expand that out. So just blow it up, and now you have that embedded. So email and video is huge, guys. Video, any video that you can even put in is huge. So even if you're doing like, say, a buyer drip campaign, and I talk about how the local community, so you know what'd be huge is do a video of that neighborhood. So if you're trying to farm a specific neighborhood, take a video of that neighborhood, of walking down the street or driving through it. Be careful with driving though, don't get in an accident. But you know what I mean? If you're out there standing, like take a video showing the people the actual neighborhood. Show that you're there. Like that would be huge. And video is so great. Video is a huge response on email. Even a video of you talking, and I know everybody hates their voice on camera. Everybody is uncomfortable. You guys got to get over it. The more that you can get over being on camera, that's where it's at. Video is so big. So, and guys, what's really happening a lot right now is people are looking for a way to connect. They're looking for a way to connect with another human, and we're missing that. You know, we're human beings. Like that's what we're meant to do, is connect with other human beings. This whole thing has made it even more so where we want to connect. So the videos that are more raw and real, to where they're actually able to see your personality and get a feeling of who you are what's really succeeding right now. The raw unedited videos are huge. So even if you took a little video of yourself and talked about why they should hire you, I mean, that's huge. That could be in a drip campaign in itself. Why they should hire you, showing how you are, who you are. You know, talk about your background. Talk about why they should hire you for that neighborhood. Talk about how you've been a resident for so many years, or whatever it is. Like, talk about that stuff. And they need to connect with you. So don't think that you have to have it completely flawless, because they like to see the human nature. They like to see that you are human, and then that they can relate. So sorry, I just went on a preach. Okay, so that's how you add a video. And let me go, okay, can these campaigns, okay, so then once I said that, sorry, I went off tangent. Then you save this. So say if I was going to save this, and I say I save this one, And then what you get is once you exit out of this, you see that you get this little box here. So if you check this box, publish to web and share, this gives you a URL that you can then share this on your social media. You can even share it here. You see they get little links, but even if you just take that link, you see if I go put that link into the web browser, it's my email. It's my email. So now I can share this anywhere I want because I have a link now. So yeah, you can share these. Okay, what was more questions? So Marlene asked, can you target that to a specific area? So you can't on email unless you have a list of that specific area of emails that you have pulled. What you can do though is say, like, if I'm farming an area and I create this email, you can target those groups on social media. So say if I was going to try to farm this specific area and say I'm talking about, maybe I talk about the market, or I have an email where I'm showing the neighborhood, or I have an email where basically I'm putting marketing statistics for that neighborhood. Post that then on those groups in Facebook. That's the value of Facebook. That's why I say don't get away from Facebook. A lot of people say, oh no, Instagram. Instagram is hot, but Facebook's still overpowering Instagram because every single demographic is on Facebook. Instagram is more the millennials. Facebook is still huge and it's still the number one. So you can go on those groups and you just have to watch. Some have restrictions, but most of them, they let you post. And if you just want to talk about, look, I just want everyone to know marketing statistics as of today. Here's what's happening in this neighborhood. Post that. Talk about what's the latest on the real estate update. You know, post those in those groups. That's how you can start building your rapport and building yourself as the realtor of that neighborhood to go to. No, you don't have to be pro. Okay, I want to make sure I'm getting all these. Yeah, so the PDF, like I said, is just the link. You would have to put it in a link. So if you're not sure how to do that, just let me know. We can go over it. I just couldn't get it in Dropbox. Danielle, did I answer your question? Okay, got it, yes. Yes, yeah, create the graphic. What about inserting a PDF directly into the campaign templates? You can. You can't insert a PDF because usually what happens with a PDF is it has the link and it has to download from somewhere. So what you have to do is put it somewhere online. So that's why I say either Dropbox account and then share that link, or even a Google Drive you could put it on, because again, it's on a web-based, cloud-based type thing that it's pulling from online. Yeah, I mean, guys, you don't have to put the link. You don't have to put a link for the home buyer guide. That was just an example. If you just want to put and tell them, like, reach out, say, look, email me for a home buyer guide, and then send it to them. That gets them more of a conversation. You could do that instead. PNG is the best format for anything on the web. So that's just a standard 101. If you want anything on the web, email, social media, PNG is the best. Yeah, Tony is great for stats. So is Eduardo. Those two guys are amazing at, and David. I mean, Sunbelt is amazing, guys. I would reach out to them and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to give you guys information on what stuff you can use. Okay, what other questions? If we get a CSV file to email an area of farm, where will it show a do not mail? So there is never a do not email. If it's on a list, if you're downloading, say, Cole Realty, if they have their emails in there, that means that they have opted in some way. But this is why I say be careful, guys, because if you guys have ever filled out a form online for anything, if you check that agree box where nobody reads, it's that long box that you agree to and you say, I agree, that right there, you basically just sold your email to a marketing database company. That's what I mean by you got to be careful with these lists, because yes, they opted in some way, but they don't know that they opted in for your particular email. That's why there's no doubt If you want to do just straight 101, the best list obviously is always the ones who have opted in and subscribed to your blog or to your email or something like that. Those are always going to be 100% better than any kind of marketing database list, because that's how they get them. That's basically how they get them, is you have agreed in some way to get your email out there. Yeah, so if it's on a list, if their email's on there, they have opted in some way to do it. But that's why I say just be careful with those lists, guys. Don't send a ton. Intermingle it with somebody, with other ones. I would intermingle it with my list that I know people are opening. Even if you have friends, it's going to help then make you so you're not sticking out like a spammer. Yes, you can add video to blogs. Blog is only available in Pro for the blog. Yes, it's $175 for the year. Like I said, that's basically the price you would pay for a website on GoDaddy, is $175 for the year. What else? What was the template you had that showed real estate data? Also, what was the local expertise template called so we can find it? So that was Canva. I mean, I had that in my Canva. If you guys want it, I can share those templates with you. I could share all of these with you if you want them. They're basically were just simple templates. Like here was one to talk about, this was a headline in Sun Sentinel one day of 7 new South Florida ice cream shops. So that was an example. This was another ad. This was an open house graphic. So if you guys want these, I can share these. I can just share the link. Copy link. What you would have to do is, if I share these with you though, is you would just have to, here was even a video testimonial you can put. So you see, it's just like it was simple, even a testimonial graphic you could put in there. So those were just ideas that you could put in. Yeah, so it wasn't a graphic, it was one I did. I can share it with you guys if you want. All I ask is if I share that link, you have to go and make a copy. So you would have to go into Canva and say file, make copy or something. Yeah, make a copy. Because if you edit that, that's my main file if I send it to you. You would have to make a copy, and I could send those to you if you want. Hootsuite. So yes, Hootsuite comes up a lot. So what I say with Hootsuite as far as social media is just be aware of that, because what happens on those social media sites is when you use a third-party vendor like that is they know, and especially something like Hootsuite, when you're blasting out to all different social medias. For example, Instagram. Instagram uses hashtags. Facebook does not. I don't care how many people are going to argue with me on this. Facebook does not use hashtags. They're starting to get like people using hashtags, but they don't. So they actually will kind of hinder you for posting something with hashtags, because they'll think that you're using a third-party site because you're not editing it. And that's where they look at those things. So you got to think of those social media sites, their benefit and their goal is to get you on their platform. If they see you're on some third party, and they can see because it's a software. So the software knows who's posting, just like it pulls IP addresses and all that. It can tell where the post is coming from. So just be aware of stuff. That's why I just say, like, look, if you guys are just creating a graphic to share and you have one graphic that you're going to blast, so what? The most 3 sites, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, just go on each one and put it on. You're going to get a better response than if you use a Hootsuite and send it out. Oh, Sandy, good job. She said she made a video for Halloween. I love it. So video, yeah, video you have to put on YouTube first. And then you can actually, why am I seeing myself on here? So YouTube you have to put on for yourself first. And then you could then post it into your email. So it only accepts stuff that you're doing. Who's sharing this? Who's doing this right now? Okay, sorry. I don't know what just happened there. But yeah, it only accepts the YouTube or the Vimeo. So you have to post it there first. You can make it private. Like if you do a video of just yourself talking and you don't want everyone in the whole YouTube to see it, you could set it to private and it'll still, then you can link it then and put it in your emails. Okay, what other questions? Yeah, and Prospect Square, I didn't even get to that. Prospect Square has amazing data that you guys can use in your emails as well. So with Prospect Square, like keep this in mind, as you can even add these area reports and anything like this to your emails. So here, Prospect Square, all of these reports, the area report and quarterly, remember those are active links. So you guys can even take these links and put them in your email. You can actually say, just like we did the link for the other thing that we did, the blog, it would be the same way. You could go and grab, so say if I was going to do Cooper City, say I could grab this link, say view area report for Cooper City and put that link in there. That's an option you have. You also have these flyers here are a new feature in Prospect Square. So these are the ones that now have where you can actually talk about your listing. And this is where the listing concierge puts your email in right now. So if you guys use listing concierge and you see that they sent up the email, this is where they're putting it in. It's in this view flyer thing, view flyers, and then you would have it in here. So create a flyer. If you were going to create a flyer, you see that I can actually create a flyer with my listing. So here it even pulls the address, or I can actually pull the MLS. Here, if I just start typing, make up one. So here, if I say like, this is my listing, I could hit create flyer. And then it gives you these templates now. You see all these different templates in here I have the regular Caldwell Banker Realty, and then I have Global Luxury. So you guys have all these templates available as well in Prospect Square. So just know that that is available as well. So if I was going to create any of these, let's say if I just grab one. And here it is. It's here. It's already in here. I have everything in here. I can edit here, edit and continue. And it lets you go through the email to go through and edit here. This is where I can actually see the body. It lets you click in here. I could delete stuff. See, it's deleting. I can add to this. So you really can get crazy with this too in here. They even let you add tables. They let you add emojis. I mean, they have everything in here. And then here's even a video as well. So even if I was sending this out for one of my listings and I also had a virtual tour, I can embed that YouTube video into this as well as an option. So know you have two things. You basically have Prospect Square and InTouch. Prospect Square, they are building this out more and more. So I think what's happening is because eventually I think InTouch is going to be a secondary option. So they're really building out like clients for life. This is going to be a huge thing to where you're going to be able to send out marketing emails really for your clients. You're going to be able to offer them things such as like discounts at movies, discounts at restaurants type of thing. We don't have this yet for our region. It's not going to come until I think next year, early next year it'll come. But right now we do have at least the flyers you can send out on any properties, but they also have this in InTouch. So it's really whatever you guys are more comfortable with. You can do either one. The reason I like the InTouch more is because you could do more of the automatic. You could do more of the automatic drip campaign. So I always say, look, any way that you can get ahead in your marketing or have it setting up automatically for you, obviously go with that way to an extent. Canva. So here, I'll post the Canva link. Like I said, all you guys need to do, if I share this, you need to make sure you're making a copy, because if you are going to edit this, you're going to ruin my main graphics. So here, I'll share this in here. Just go say file, make a copy. Don't make any changes until you have make a copy, and then rename it. Then you can do your edits. So there's a bunch of graphics there. Like I said, as you can see, how can they move to Prospect Square from InTouch? What do you mean? She goes, arg. Who is moving to Prospect Square to InTouch? they're not getting, I don't mean it like that. You're always going to have a marketing email. That's the difference with InTouch. It's not marketing emails. Prospect Square is not marketing emails. InTouch is. And you can't do drip campaigns on Prospect Square. You could just do automatic reports and list anything with listings. Brent is asking if anyone wants to bounce some ideas off to work together on these things. Yeah, and guys, I mean, this is really, I would say, work together on a lot of stuff. You know, I gave you guys an outline. If you need help too with finding out ways, like just come to me. I'm happy to do it. But what I say is the more that you guys can show how you're knowledgeable of these areas, that's your selling point. And though, and do you like things that are very different for you, are very simple for you guys, like such as pointing out key features of a home. The normal person doesn't know that stuff. And I know it's very simple to you, and even market updates, market stats and statistics. You know, people love to hear that. They want to know what's going on in their neighborhood. Post that stuff and then try to share it in those Facebook groups. Just get out as much as possible getting these people. And the more that you can have an opt-in list without using these marketing lists, the better success that you guys will have. I found Prospect Square from searching it on Desk. So you see in the chat, a lot of agents are coming forth looking to partner with other agents. So if you guys want, I think that's a great idea. You guys can bounce off a lot of ideas from each other and know that even though if you guys go with the same kind of outline, you're still going to make it different. If you make it your own, you know, maybe stuff that I want to put about the community or maybe my favorite hotspots aren't going to be like the same as somebody else's. You know, but also too, what's always a good thing to post is like events happening. People love to know events. That was always, I used to have a calendar on one of my developer site and they loved events. That was one of the hottest pages. So just know, like, use those things. It's going to help you guys. And I'm available. No, everyone asks me, who can I hire? I don't know, guys. I don't know who you can hire. I have nobody in my, people must think I have this big Rolodex of people that I can just hire. I used to do this myself, guys. So I never outsourced. I did it all myself. So I don't know who you, I don't have that in my Rolodex of people you can hire. So those who are just starting out, I see a lot of that, people who are just starting out, that just take it day by day. You know, start out with a simple campaign. Start out with the holiday campaign that's already done for you. See what kind of response you get from that. Then as you start getting more and more into it, then you can start building for yourself. It's really selling yourself to somebody. Like put yourself in your shoes or in the seller's shoes or in the buyer's shoes. What information do they need to know? You guys know more than anything. What does a buyer need to know? What does a seller need to know? Those are the things that you basically create into a drip campaign. You know, and like I said, the seller, Real Vitalize, that's one campaign right there. Talk about Real Vitalize. It is expensive to hire. That's why I say the more that you guys can do this yourself. I mean, a lot of those social media companies or marketing companies are going to charge a lot of money. Unless you guys can find a college kid or somebody in college who's specializing in marketing, that would be the way to go, honestly. Especially college right now, have them doing it on the side. It's probably so easy for them. And, you know, somebody specializing in PR can help you write it. Use the college kids. I'm going to put my email in the chat. Do you guys have any other questions? I know I threw a lot of stuff at you, but like I said, take time with this stuff. You can reach out to me if you want to bounce ideas off of me. I'm happy to give you any ideas as much as I can. But really, I say to break it up. Like, don't put everything in. Like, spread out your drip campaigns. Thank you, Ronaldo. You're amazing. I do try to give a lot of golden nuggets. I do try to give you guys a lot. Thank you, guys. Thank you. But like I said, I did record this. Hopefully it is recording, right? God, I hope so before I say that. Okay, yeah, I did. Okay, I'm gonna stop it.